on the mainland USA. So this webinar is part of the East-West Center Research Speaker Series. Each month, the East-West Center Research Program presents the East-West Center Research Speaker Series. Through this series, we explore the environmental, demographic, political, and economic processes that are reshaping the Asia-Pacific region in profound ways. So now it's my sheer pleasure to introduce the speaker who is a friend and a colleague of many years and a friend of the East-West Center. But most interestingly, the speaker, Dr. Chin Chan, is an alumni of the East-West Center and the University of Hawaii. And under our new strategic plan, we are trying to engage more and more with our alumni. So this is one way to do it. So Dr. Chen is a lecturer at the Faculty of Development Economics at the Vietnam National University, University of Economics and Business. He's also affiliated with the Center for Community Support Development Studies. His research interests include environmental governance, green growth, circular economy, and sustainable development. He's one of the core team members to develop the Vietnam Provincial Governance and Public Administration Performance Index called PAPI. His outstanding work was to serve as the fieldwork manager of the PAPI project from 2017 till now. And also he was the field team leader in 2012 and 2016. Currently, he also works as the national consultant for the development of circular economy in Vietnam, funded by the Hans Seidel Foundation. The project on the development of the set of criteria for measuring citizen satisfaction on public service managed by the justice sector, and focusing on the development of assessment tools in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice, funded by the USAID Governance for Inclusive Growth Program, USAID GIG. Dr. Chin got his PhD in Natural Resources and Environmental Management, as I said, from the University of Hawaii at Manoa. He was also the recipient of a scholarship through the US National Science Foundation project that was awarded to the East-West Center on avian influenza. So without much ado, I will hand this over to Dr. Chin, and just to say, remind everyone that we would request Dr. Chin to speak for about 40 minutes. It'll be followed by 15 minutes of question and answer. And please type in your questions in the Q&A box of the Zoom app. So with that, over to you, Chin.
Thank you, Dr. Samit, and good morning, everyone from Vietnam, and good afternoon to audience from Honolulu, and also to audience from Washington DC, so from mainland. As Dr. Samit introduced, my name is Ching Chen, and I'm a lecturer at Faculty of Development Economics, Vietnamese University of Economics and Business, and I'm also affiliated with Center for Community Support and Development Studies. And today I would like to talk about environmental governance in Vietnam, a citizen's perspective. And this is a part of a bigger picture of the Vietnam provincial governance and public administration. Next slide, please. And for those who don't know PAPI yet, this is the acronym for the Vietnam Provincial Governance and Public Administration Performance Index. It measures citizens' experiences. And this is the largest annual citizen-centric nationwide policy monitoring tool. PAPI captures citizens' experiences and perceptions to benchmark the performance and quality of policy implementation and service delivery of all 63 provinces in Vietnam. The ultimate goal of PAPI is to realize gains in government performance to better meet citizens' evolving needs, the responsiveness, transparency, and accountability of public institutions, and ensure basic human rights in terms of freedom of expression. access to information as well as quality basic service with evidence collected from citizens as the end user of government services, not only through public survey, but also follow-up thematic action-oriented research and advocacy. PAPI helps to identify policy gaps, inform policy-making agencies, provides policy advice, and encourages improvement in government performance. Next, please. So PAPI is also to serve SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 60 on peace, justice, strong institutions, is to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. Next, please. And throughout the history of PAPI in Vietnam, so that's been 15 years so far since we first launched PAPI in 2009 with the pilot survey in 3 provinces. And PAPI was expanded to 32 provinces in 2009 to 2010. And starting from 2011 until now, we conducted surveys PAPI research in all provinces in Vietnam, all 63 provinces. In the period from 2011 to 2018, the core PAPI includes 6 dimensions with indicators that have remained mostly in the same since the first national surveys in 2011 and until 2018. And those dimensions are participation at local levels, transparency in local decision making, vertical accountability towards citizens, control of corruption in public sector, public administrative procedures, and public service delivery. So those are 6 core dimensions. At the first period in 2011 to 2018 at the national level. Next, please. And from 2019, we added 2 more dimensions, environmental governance and electronic governance, or we sometimes call e-governance. And sometimes I mentioned to 2019 or PAPI 2018. So because we have the gap year, we start PAPI from April of the previous year until May the next year. So the years when we start PAPI 2018, so it means it started at in 2018 and it goes over 2019. So sometimes I mix up these 2 words. So please excuse me for that. But from 2019, we added two more dimensions: environmental governance and electric governance. Next, please. And some background. So as you see earlier, environmental governance was not included as the first 6 dimension at the original. So we added environmental governance starting from PAPI 2018. So this is some background why we add environmental governance as a core index in PAPI. So environmental governance is now one of the 8 core indexes in PAPI. Starting from 2015, poverty was always identified as the most important issue facing Vietnam, and following by roads, jobs, employment, etc. And environment started to be realized as a serious problem in Vietnam since 2015. Even though it ranks like very at the very bottom, just second from the bottom up, but people started to realize in environmental issue, and this is this rank gradually goes up over the years. Next, please. And 2016, environmental issues just as an important concern in 2016. It went up to the second place as the most important issues concerned by Vietnamese government, Vietnamese citizens. And one of the issues that pushed environmental issue to the second place was the fiscal tragedy in the central coast of Vietnam. So this people talk about this tragedy. It affected 4 provinces in central coast of Vietnam, including Huế, Quảng Trị, Quảng Bình, and Hà Tĩnh. And due to events, citizens were more concerned than ever about environment. And this suggests that the government should take a much closer look at environmental protection standards and policies and make transparent how these policies are implemented in practice for public to scrutinize. Next, please. So environmental pollution that caused public concern. Fiscal tragedy caused by toxic waste spilled from Formosa Hà Tĩnh steel plant in April 2016, and recently Random warehouse fire in 2019 caused toxic air pollution in several areas in Hanoi. So those are 2 examples about pollution in Vietnam so far. There are a lot more going on, and these events just trigger the public concern about environment. Growing environmental activism and increased public environmental awareness. And PAPI realized these issues and started to dig deeper into environmental issues starting from 2016. Next, please. So starting from PAPI 2018, 2 more dimensions added, including environmental governance and e-governance. And these 8 dimensions are the cause up until now. Next, please. Some information about PAPI methods, approaches, location, and dimensions. So the PAPI was conducted in all 63 provinces in Vietnam. And the method we use is to face-to-face interview. So we every year we interview about 14 to 15,000 people, and now we try to increase the number of samples in Vietnam. And this year maybe we can interview more than 16 or more than 17,000 people, and the duration time for the interview is about 45 to 60 minutes, depending on specific situation. And we do survey in all 63 provinces, 208 districts, 416 communes, and 872 villages. These are very big sample in any research project in Vietnam so far. So next, please. So now we look at the dimension 7, and why we concerned about this. This dimension set baseline to assist central and local governments in understanding citizens' environmental concerns over time. It also informs governments at different levels about hotspots of environmental concern, so that they can work on addressing this issue. So Dimension 7 has been one of the hot topic in many workshops or like public events in Vietnam so far. So different provinces also talk about the environmental concerns. Next, please. So what included in this dimension? Dimension 7 is about environmental concern in environmental governance. It included 3 subdimensions: seriousness in environmental protection, quality of air, and quality of water. So for the total, we measure this dimension using scale, score from 1 to 10. 1 is the smallest, and 10 is the largest score. And within each subdimension, we have indicators. For example, the first subdimension, we use firms in locality not giving price to avoid environmental responsibility. We ask people to give us idea or experience if whether they witness or they think that issue that firms in locality not giving price to avoid environmental responsibility. And we that's one of the indicators we use. In sub dimension 2, not wearing masks to avoid polluted air, or rating air quality as good and better air quality than 3 years ago. Those are some indicators we ask citizens to evaluate. They can give it in like a scale. The subdimension 3 on water from nearby waterway good enough to drink, or water from nearby waterway good enough to wash clothes, or water from nearby waterways good enough to swim. So this information is from PAPI 2018. The dimension scores for environmental governance were below the average, and the score ranges from 3.54 to 6.74 on 1 to 10 scale. So this score is not promising though. Next, please. So let's look at some results from dimension 7. You see the map? That's we categorize provinces in different categories, and we mark them as in color. The blue color shows the best performers. So these are provinces with the high score, as categorized in the the most high score. Green as high average. Yellow shows low average, and light yellow show poor performance. Poor performers. So you see there are different provinces has different color. Citizens in different provinces experience quite varied environmental quality. Citizens in Mekong Delta region, which is at the bottom of the map, and provinces and citizens from mountainous areas in the north, which are provinces on top to the right side. And they tend to rate air quality, water quality, and firm seriousness with environmental protection higher than other regions. So citizens in these provinces think that government work on environmental environmental governance is better than other provinces. And the three central governance community municipalities of Haiphong, Ho Chi Minh City, and Hanoi were in the poorest performing group for all sub-dimensions. And so were Central Highlands provinces and industrial provinces like Bình Dương, Đồng Nai, Vĩnh Phúc, and Thái Nguyên. So look closer to the light yellow. That shows poor performers. All the provinces with better economic situation, with a lot of industrial zones, were ranked at the lowest performers in environmental governance. And these are the issues that those that governments in these provinces have to take and to address the issue that their citizens already evaluate the situation there in terms of air quality and water quality. Next, please. So some findings from this. Citizens in all provinces were not happy with environmental governance performance in 2018. Scores in available measurable indicators provide worrying signs for air quality, water quality, and firm seriousness in complying with environmental protection standards. And scores in 2018 for this dimension represent a starting point for local governments, helping them to understand citizens' perceptions in this area and where provinces should focus their energies in order to address environmental challenges in their provinces. Next, please. And in 2021, PAPI 2021 also measured the environmental governance, and it's different from PAPI 2018. And in this year, we have missing data from Bắc Ninh, Bắc Giang, and Quảng Ninh. And still, we see the same trend. They're different between performance from different provinces as the citizens evaluate their performance. And that's clear divide among 7 economic regions across Vietnam. And provinces in the South Central, Central Highlands, Southeastern and Northeastern regions score lower than those in Northwestern, North Central, and Mekong Delta regions. And for those who are not familiar with Vietnam economic regions, so we have 7 economic regions. From the north, we have on the top of the map, we have northeastern regions and west-eastern regions. Northeastern region includes the provinces on the top to the right of the map, and west-eastern regions includes provinces to the left of the map, including Lai Châu, Hòa Bình, Sơn La, Lào Cai, Yên Bái, etc. And then Điện Biên. So the third region, the third economic regions is Red River Delta, and Hanoi capital is located in this area. And then we have north and central coast of Vietnam. Sorry, from Thanh Hóa to Quảng Ngãi, to Quảng Nam, Quảng Ngãi, and then we have Central Highlands, including 5 provinces in Central Highlands: Lâm Đồng, Gia Lai, Kon Tum, Đắk Lắk, and Đắk Nông. And then we move to the south. We have north, and the southeast south, and we have Mekong Delta regions, and those are economic regions across Vietnam, and they clear distinction between this region in terms of evaluation of environmental governance of Vietnamese government, Vietnamese citizens. And also, nearly half of the provinces score higher in 2021 than in 2020. So Hưng Yên improved significantly, while its neighbor Haiphong, Haidian declined markedly. Next slide, please. So this graph shows the changes in performance in environmental governance from 2020 to 2021. As you see, the graph as shown in bar, as shown in different color. Y show changes in percentage of evaluation. With Y, with color gray, that shows Y is the changes less than 5%. To less than 5% to the left, meaning that the year 2011, the performance in 2021 is worse than performance in 2020. And with Y, as shown in blue, Y greater than 5%. That shows the provinces with better performance in 2021 as compared to 2020. And the color like yellow is between less than 5% to more than 5% performance in 2020 to 2021. So from this graph, we see that nearly half of the provinces score higher in 2021 than in 2020. And interestingly, we see Hưng Yên improved significantly, while its neighbor Haidian declined markedly. And all provinces score below 5 points on 1 to 10 scale in 2021. The perceived lack of local government seriousness in environmental protection and the poor quality of domestic water sources are reasons for low provincial score. And on citizens' participation in environmental protection efforts, more respondents in Bình Dương, Hà Giang, Hà Tĩnh, and Thừa Thiên Huế said they reported local environmental problems to local authorities, and most were responded immediately. As those are the good sides for governance, for environmental governance from these provinces, as the citizen evaluate their performance. Next slide, please. So some some key takeaway. All provinces score below 5 points on 1 to 10 scale in 2021, and that's not a good sign. The perceived lack of local government seriousness in environmental protection and the poor quality of domestic water sources are reasons for low provincial scores. So they evaluate the water quality, and specific question were on the quality of the water in the nearest rivers or stream. And they evaluate this type of whether they can swim, or whether they can wash clothes, or whether they can use these sources of water for cooking, for example. And on citizens' participation in environmental protection efforts, and responding from Bình Dương, Hà Giang, Hà Tĩnh, and Thừa Thiên Huế said that their provincial governance response to their report immediately. Next slide, please. And now we move to 2022, which is last year. The score in environmental governance did not change much as compared to other years. So the aggregate dimensional scores from all 63 provinces are categorized in 4 quartiles. With the first one, which is the highest, the score ranges from 365 to 463 points. And the second category, the score ranges from 3.42 to 3.65 points. And the third group, it ranges from 3.19 to 3.41. And the last group, which shows the worst performers in the category, the score ranges from 2.52 to 2.52 to 3.17. And the half of environmental concerns remain in the Red River Delta and the southeast regions, where more industrial provinces are located in the Central Highlands. So in all those years, the situation doesn't change for these reasons. The Mekong River Delta was more high rated than other regions, with 11 out of 30 provinces in high categories. Next, please. So as compared to 2021, less provinces have better performers. Only 3 provinces, Tiền Giang, Sóc Trăng, and Viet, made significant improvements over the past 2 years, while 29 provinces scored lower in 2022 than 2021. So the perceived lack of local government's commitment to environmental protection and the poor quality of domestic water sources are reasons for low provincial scores. And the real reason why people rate the local or provincial governments on environmental governance not so high. We need more research on this real reason, but the fact that people does not highly evaluate the performance from provincial governments in terms of environmental governance. As a result, shows only 3 provinces that made significant changes, and only more than and about 29 provinces score lower than 2022, and those are not good size for environmental governance in Vietnam so far. So next, please. So this map shows comparison between 3 years, 2018, 2021, and 2022. And we can see that citizens in the Mekong Delta consistently said that their provincial government do a good job on environmental governance. As you see, the blue appear in this region over this three-year period, 2018, 2021, and 2022. And there are different with the differences between province citizens evaluation from 2018 to 2022 in the northeastern regions, where it moves from blue to green and to yellow. So meaning that citizens in the provinces in these regions show the disappointment in the provincial governments in governing environmental problem. And the good side on north central coast of Vietnam, when we see the color move from green or yellow in 2018 and in 2021, we see a lot of blue colors in those provinces, including Nghệ An, Hà Tĩnh, Quảng Bình, and Thanh Hóa. Also, it dropped down a little bit in 2022 to green to green category, but it still shows the pretty high score in the evaluation of their citizens. Next, please. So to give you a better picture on the dimension 7, environmental governance as compared to other dimensions. So you see here the new 2 dimensions, including dimension 7, environmental governance, and dimension 8, e-governance. Those 2 ranked lowest as compared to other 6 original dimensions. And the highest one are dimension 6, public service delivery, and dimension 5, public administration procedures. And also dimension 4 on control of corruption in public sectors. So there, since we conducted PAPI research from 2009 and at national level starting from 2011, and those dimensions have gradually increased over the time, meaning that the government has focused their resources on increasing the services in public administrative procedures and public service delivery. On the other side, other aspects of the governance, including environmental governance and e-governance, they did not focus their resources on those things, those dimensions. And looking at the bright side, that we just recently heard that the government will be more aggressive on environmental issues, also on increase the e-governance, and they invest more on those dimensions in the future. So we will see how this progress going on in the next few years. And next, please. And to conclude my my talk about environmental governance, I'd like to briefly show how we conduct the survey. With our team efforts, we were able to conduct a survey with face-to-face interview in all 63 provinces, and this is a very big survey and the largest social survey in Vietnam so far. So now we often conduct the survey in cultural house, and this is a neutral location to make sure that our respondent confidence about the evaluation, and they can tell the ideas, the knowledge, or they can tell what they witness over the time, or what you see in the local level, at the local level, and the interview was organized separately with one-on-one interview. So we prevent other people from interfering the interview. So we interview all the people, and with our sample strategy, any people may be in the list of our interviewee. Sometimes we interview local leaders, and sometimes we interview ethnic people, and we can interview king people, and we can interview women, youth, or even like older people. So our sample is very various. So that makes sure that we capture all the ideas or knowledge from all citizens across the country. Next, please. So for more information about PAPI, please go on the website papi.org.vn or following and update PAPI on the website, or you can follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Google. And thank you for listening. And I'd like to take questions from all of you. And for now, I pass it to Dr. Samit. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Chen. Very fascinating presentation with data and details. I just realized that I had forgotten to introduce myself. So I'm Sumit Saxena, Senior Fellow at the East-West Center in the research program. So yeah, let us get to the questions. Quite a few interesting questions lined up here. But just to again encourage all of you, do visit the PAPI website. I have been following this project ever since Chin told me about it. And really, as he said, the breadth and scope of that survey, the surveys they're doing is really mind-boggling in a country like Vietnam. Even more fascinating is how they continued the surveys during the COVID related restrictions. So we would like to hear more about that. But let me not take time away from the questions. So the first question is from Micah Fisher. Very interesting that environmental issues are growing in importance among the Vietnamese public. Could you tell us a bit more about what people are thinking about when they think about the environment? Similarly, is there a regional variation about defining environment? So I guess the last question, the second question, we saw a lot of maps. Maybe you want to elaborate on that. But his first question was, can you tell us what people are actually thinking about when they think about the environment?
Oh, thanks, Micah, for your interesting question. So the survey tells us that people are concerned about environment. However, they still think that economic situation is economic situation is more it's more concerned than environment. So that's a fact right now. So if we ask people, and most of them will tell us that they think environmental issue is important. However, look at the real fact. They think they need to survive. They need money to support their life. So environment, in general, environment still rank lower than economic, especially poverty. That's the real situation in Vietnam right now. So as long as our government solve the question of economic situation, then next one is environment. We think people will change in the future, but there are a lot of things to do for now.
Thank you, Jin. The second question in the queue was, what is e-governance referring to? Would you like to elaborate on that?
Oh, e-governance refers to electronic governance. So we and now there's a big project on increasing public administration on like we try to to increase our services using websites or using electronic devices. So there are different level of the paper that government can do through the website, and that we call e-governance. That like government try to increase the services. For example, they provide birth certificate through website instead of going straight to the one door services, or they can provide other certificate online, and this is the e-governance.
Thank you. The third question by an anonymous participant is incomplete. What has the impact of E, and then it's blank. So maybe the person can type the question again, and I'll go to the fourth question, which is something I'm really interested in. This is from Shazia Harris from Pakistan. Do you have gender disaggregated data? Would be very interesting to see how women respond, and I'm assuming differently from men, to participation level and evaluating government performance. So basically, did you make a conscious choice to sample women and men in certain proportions to report the gender disaggregated information? And if yes, what findings did you get?
Yeah, we do have a criteria on selecting on sampling strategy. So we set the target is 50-50, 50% men and 50% women. So when we conduct the survey, well, actually, the more women show up than men. So the rate is kind of like higher women than men. It's about 56 to 64, something like that every year. I'm sorry, it's about 46, 54 men as compared to women. So women is always show up like a higher proportion than men. And we also conducted we also do an analysis on gender side. So there's a lot of analysis throughout the PAPI report. So maybe you can go online to get better idea. So there are a lot of information, and also you can request for raw data from our partner UNDP, and they provide raw data for free. You just need to put a request and set up some like some documents as the requirement, and you can freely use raw data for your analysis throughout the years. And we have a big data from 2011 at national level up until now. So it's like 12 years national data so far.
Well, that's fantastic to know that people can request for the raw data. That's really important. Then we have a question which is similar to gender. What is the impact of educational level on the results, both I'm guessing at the individual level as well as at the community level?
I don't have that information right now, so maybe I can look up and answer your question later. I'm sorry about that.
But did you collect the educational level of the respondent in your survey?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of people on background characteristic, including education, household member, sex, and where they work and what organization they involve in, for example. Yeah, we do have that information.
Great. So then John Barnett wants to convey his compliments. Great talk. We have a question from Marufa Bhuyan. What is the future plan for PAPI in this project and beyond? Your future plans?
Right now we have funding until 2025. So we have 2 more years. After that, we try to raise the fund for further PAPI. So this project is has 15 years already, and this is the one of the two project together with PCI that had been continuously or annually conducted so far. So this is a very good project and were highly evaluated. And the report were used by the report is used by also the government, and they look at the report and to see what's happening and what's going on within the different provinces, and they try to solve the problem. So with this information, we hope that we can continue to do this project longer and far beyond 2015, 2025, I'm sorry, 2025, which we have funding at till that time. And we will try to get more funding and to continue the project.
Okay, Mitsue Cook has a question. What are the major causes of air pollution in Hanoi and in other major cities of Vietnam?
This question is beyond PAPI. We did ask the cause of air pollution in Hanoi, but as far as I know from other studies, the main causes of the pollution in Hanoi coming from vehicles, the smoke from vehicles coming from industrial facilities from different provinces, and also it's coming from construction sites, and those are the major three resources that contribute to air pollution in Hanoi.
Okay, question by Ernie Wilson. How is it that areas around Mekong Delta have such a great improvement as shown in your data? Is it economic, education, physical, or something else in comparison with, let's say, the Central Highlands, Pleiku or Dalat?
It's hard to say about this because I just like talk about environmental governance, and those and people in those provinces saying that they experience good environmental governance in their provinces. And I just give my guess on this situation where the whenever I go to Mekong Delta, I feel relieved, and I feel like I feel stronger in terms of my health as compared to Hanoi. That's a real thing, and people in that area think the same way, so they highly evaluate the provincial governments on governing the environmental over there. So to tell the fact, like from the survey and also from the real experience, I agree with people in this area. So it's not about economics, it's about environment. So good environments over there, and that's how they feel and they evaluate the situation.
Okay, because we're short of time, we'll take one last question. This is from an anonymous participant. Local governments seem to have no high regard for improving the protection of the environment. Is that due to their limited power? In other words, not enough decentralization in environmental protection?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Local governments seem to have no regard for improving the protection of the environment. Is that due to their limited power? In other words, probably not enough decentralization.
This is a very good question. Well, the data we collect specifically on water and air quality, and each year we have different questions on other aspect of environment. So because of there also some limitation in data for this dimensions that I assure you, because we really have like 45 to 60 minutes the survey, and it's a long time. So we have to separate, and we have to arrange some question for this dimension, or some question for other dimension. So for environmental governance, we mostly focus on air quality and water quality, and we provide local government with those with evaluation from the citizens on those aspects only. So other things need to be done. So maybe that one way we can look at when we creating a new project or something like that. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Chin. It was really fascinating, and even some of the details of how you do these surveys and what the results were, I didn't know, even though I fairly regularly visit the PAPI website. And I would encourage all the members in the audience who are interested in such efforts to visit the PAPI website too. So thanks a lot again for taking the time, Chin, to prepare for this and sharing your findings with us. And I also would like to thank the audience who's been extremely attentive and asked really relevant questions, and certainly like to thank those people who have logged in at odd hours of the day, either very early in the morning or very late in the evening, wherever, depending on where you are. So thanks again. And to remind everyone that the East West Center Research Program does record these webinars, and we post them on the YouTube channel. And you can find this if you go to the East West Center main events page. And as I mentioned, this is only one of a long series of talks. I believe the next one is on the September of 20th by Dr. Kylie Stice. At this moment, we don't have the topic, but again, the East West Center event page is something you should subscribe to, and you will get the information from there. So once again, thanks to Chin, thanks to the lovely audience, and see you in other seminars. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.